In the fields of poteet where the sun beats down, strawberries ripe and wearing their red gown. We dream in the rose of future in bloom. With every sweet harvest, we'll break through the gloom. With dirt on my hands, I rise from the pain. So here's to the passion, the joy that we find. In the rhythm of hard work, we leave fear behind. Strawberry fields, so they're calling our name. In the warmth of poteet, we'll light up the flame. Each morning is hope as the dewdrops gleam. Together we toil for a common dream. Days may be tough, but we won't retreat. In the heart of Texas, we'll find our beat. With the lift of our spirits, we'll conquer the night. So here's to the passion, the joy that we find. In the rhythm of hard work, we leave fear behind. Strawberry fields, oh, they're calling our name. In the warmth of poteet, you light up the flame. Embrace the struggle, let your spirit fly. In the fields of reach for the sky. Embrace the stubble, let's just get it fly. In the fields of poteet, we'll reach for the sky.
You've been trying, but you're nothing like me. You can make it, but you're not fooling me.
I've never noticed that.
Did you guys notice the hand reaching for the strawberry right at the start?
I have never noticed that.
I added that before the last show that we did, and I guess she didn't notice last time.
I wasn't paying attention last time. Yeah, that's it.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Welcome to SoTex Time, our 7th show.
Woo.
You got
We're getting
me.
old.
Oh yeah, this show is getting old. You got me, Pat West, and the beautiful.
Joanna.
Wait, this thing's reversed again. The beautiful Joanna is here on the show. We're gonna have a lot of fun today.
Wait. Somebody's missing.
Oh,
Somebody's missing.
someone's missing?
Someone's missing.
Anybody have an idea who's missing?
Was he imaginary?
He might have been
No.
imaginary.
We're missing Donovan today, guys. He had some personal things he needed to attend to, so he will not be here, but maybe he'll hop in on the comments later or something. Yeah.
Joanna's missing him a lot. She was crying earlier.
Make fun of me.
Guys, welcome to the show. Joanna,
Yes.
what's going on outside?
It's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot. It's hot. But it's getting cloudy, and there's a dark cloud right there.
Yeah.
So maybe, fingers crossed, we'll get some rain this evening. We'll see.
Everybody says prayers for some rain because we definitely need it. But even with the heat, we still got some produce on the way. And actually, when I say on the way, we picked like almost 60 pounds of tomatoes this week. 60 pounds. And we sold all of them on one lady.
Hey, what's your favorite variety? Do
Oh,
you have one?
my favorite variety right now is the Brad's Atomic from Baker Creek. The Brad's Atomic.
What do you like about
I just love the color. So it's this crazy looking tomato.
it? It is crazy.
It has bright like neon orange, neon green,
Yeah.
neon yellow, and then the bottom's just like your typical red, orangey, strawberry, but it just looks so. The top is black.
It's black.
So it
Almost
looks like an explosion.
black. I don't know. It's really pretty. It's Brad's Atomic Galaxy or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'll find the link and I'll put it in the comments later. But it's an interesting looking tomato. Mine is still the bumblebee cherry tomatoes. Those are my favorite. But a close second is the queen of the wheat.
We did start harvesting the pineapple accordions.
Yes.
This week. I picked one, and I'm sure you guys saw the picture if you follow our page.
There's a smaller one.
I picked one this thing. It's like I'm not even kidding you. Weigh 3 pounds. They used to call those tomatoes mortgage lifters, but yeah, we got a way bigger mortgage than that. So,
but the one you picked earlier this week was a lot bigger and had a lot more rippling in the accordion structure, and it was delicious. I ate some of it. I think you had a couple bites, and then Grandma made some soup with it. It was delicious.
fantastic. They're one of the super sweet. I don't want to dent it, but literally you can see I can push it into it with barely even pushing my hand at all. But I don't want to bruise it. Super sweet, super soft. They're ripe. Their flavor
We should
is.
give away one.
We'll give away one tomato.
One tomato.
So guys, we do have some some prizes today. And if you stick with us through the whole show, we're gonna ask 2 things of you. 1, stick with us through the whole show. 2, when we have our guests up, ask questions. If you ask a question, I'm gonna go ahead and just add your name to our wheel, and we will spin it. We have 2 hats.
2 hats.
And
they're different. I'm going to show the 2 styles.
yeah, so there's 1 hat.
Since we're talking with Game Warden, we went hunter style.
Yeah, we got our hunter stuff. I don't know what this Nick says. I love you, Joanna. It's way down there at the bottom. I don't know why it's doing that, but
Somebody who loves me.
yeah, Nick says I love you, Joanna. But I have to disagree with the title on here. My mom is the best looking woman in life.
Thank you. I don't agree with that title. That is not a self-given title. That's that guy right there. He's blind. Needs to have his eyes checked.
I got 2020, man.
I
I was in the
love
Air
her.
Force.
She's beautiful. Very beautiful.
She's all right. She's no Joanna.
What?
But on that note, on produce note, we're still picking pearls. I mean, when I say we're picking pearls, we're not actually really picking pearls. I picked some of the pearls. If you guys want some pearls, let me know. But if y'all want to come pick pearls, we're allowing people to come into the pearl field right now.
And many of you know that field was off limits during our regular picking season. We didn't want anybody in there just because not everybody knows what to look for. And we decided we're at the end of season. I think y'all are familiar with how they look and what they should look like when they're picked. So we went ahead and we opened it up so people can come and they can pick their own pearl strawberries. So if you're interested, let us know.
Other produce, yellow zucchini, ready. Patty pan squash, ready.
Patty pans are over there.
Then we have some patty pans. We'll show you all that. If you don't know what patty pan is, we'll show you that to you later. Zucchini are done. Our black zucchini, or black beauty zucchini, completely done. The squash beetles murdered them. Melons, about 2 weeks. Give us 2 weeks. We're going to have watermelons up the wazoo. We're going to have cantaloupes. We're going to have batik samara. We're going to have Korean muskmelons. We're going to have Thai muskmelons. We're going to have banana melons.
Did you plant tigers?
I did not plant any tiger melons at all this year.
I planted some in my little teeny tiny garden. They're not ready yet, but when they are, I'll let you know.
Well, aren't you fancy?
I know.
Well, speaking of our special guests, we are going to have. Well, that was not a special guest.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that wasn't a special guest. So we're gonna have a guy that I met at a boat ramp one time. No, I've met him at the boat ramp a lot of times. But I'm gonna pull a picture.
Should I be concerned?
There's Brett.
Hey, Brett. Hello, man.
We're gonna have Brett on the show. He'll actually be up after we have this little commercial break here in a second. And then our second guest. So that was the game warden, by the way. in case you didn't know, he's a game warden. That's Brett Hernandez. Used to be the McMullen County Game Warden, and now he is the Lampasas County Game Warden. A little change of scenery, a lot less brush, a lot more lakes. We'll talk to him a little bit about that. We'll talk to him about his history getting into being in law enforcement and what he did before that, which was serving in the Army.
That's awesome. Thank you very your service.
Thank you for your service.
When are we doing our first giveaway? That's what I want.
Oh, we're gonna do them all at the end.
All at the end.
Let's get the fun stuff out of the
Oh,
way.
man. I want to give away one of those strawberry pins. I know kids like them. So if you have kids, we're gonna try to give one of these away tonight.
Yeah.
So your kid can have a little strawberry pin. Hopefully they don't write on the wall.
So stick with us. Our second guest after Brett, he hasn't even showed up yet. He's not even in the lobby yet, but he's trying to get home so he can be on the show. Minda says the tomatoes are yummy.
Thanks, Miss Minda.
And our second guest is right there. Kind of a blurry picture, but that is Game Warden Lieutenant Kevin Winters. He is, let me see if I can get his title correct.
Go ahead.
I had to practice this. You know how many times I screwed this up for the promo, trying to say what his title was?
I don't know how many times he screwed it up. Go ahead.
His title is the Assistant or Associate Director. I already got it wrong. It's Associate Director of Wildlife with the Texas Game Wardens, and he works exclusively with the Texas Congress on policy.
That's impressive.
That's fantastic.
That's impressive.
Who better
I've
talk
been
to?
practicing my game warden impression all week.
We're gonna let you do that.
I may do it later.
We're gonna let you do that game warden. See if you chicken out when you're in front of the actual game warden.
Yeah, I might chicken out.
But guys, get ready for a fun show. We're gonna go to a really quick commercial break. But before we go to that break, I want to talk about our sponsor.
Ooh, who's our sponsor this week?
We have a sponsor.
Do we know him?
We know him. Our sponsor is the Backyard Kitchen, located at 985 Avenue H in Poteet, Texas. The Backyard Kitchen currently has a family combo deal that you can get 4 cheeseburgers,
And a loaded fry.
1 with fry, 4 drinks for just $24.99. Can you believe that?
That's a steal in this economy. Seriously, it's a steal.
That's
It's a steal.
deal of a deal. But with that being said, I want you guys to see this new commercial. Let me know what you think of it. Brad absolutely loved it. But guys, we'll be back in a moment with our first guest. See you in a bit.
Hey guys, Pat with SoTex here to talk to you about the Backyard Kitchen. Located at 973 Avenue H in Poteet, Texas, the Backyard Kitchen has all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Make sure to book them for your next event or go see them. This week, Tuesday through Thursday, they have their family meal deal for just $24.99. You can get 4 cheeseburgers, 4 drinks, and 1 large family loaded fry. That's a steal of a deal. Go see them at the Backyard Kitchen.
Are you ready to shine? Make your mark this time. SoTex Time is here. In the spotlight you'll climb. Join the wave of success. Let your brand be heard. In this vibrant show, spread the word, spread the word. Tune in, don't miss, now's your chance. Together we'll rise, let's take a stand.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back, guys. Welcome back to SoTex Time. We want to welcome in a guy that's a lot of fun to talk to. He might make some of y'all's heart race.
I'm surprised he doesn't make your heart race. And not in the good way.
The first time he did, but yeah, it'll make some of your hearts race whenever you see him at the boat ramp.
How are you?
Guys, Game Warden Brett Hernandez. How you doing, Brett?
Good. How about y'all?
Good.
Every day's a holiday. That's my favorite response. Every day's a holiday.
Why you like people? You really need to stop lying to you.
Hey, speaking of holidays, Brett and I, before we even got on air, and before we even get started, Brett, because I wanted to go ahead and thank you for your service.
Thank you too.
Tell us what you did in the Army, first of all. Before we do any of that, tell us what you did in the Army.
I was an airborne infantryman, so I jumped out of planes and was a knuckle dragger, pretty much.
Everybody needs a knuckle dragger. Absolutely. That is absolutely the case. So when you were in the Army, I want to pull up some of those pictures. Let's
Get
see
his
here.
Permission to show those pictures?
Do I have your permission to show your pictures, Brett?
Go ahead.
I mean, you sent them to me, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how long were you in the Army? That's my first question.
I did a total of like 4 years and 11 months. So just under 5 years, pretty much.
So you did your mandatory tour when you sign on, basically.
Yeah. Well, they had like a 3-year option and a 4-year, and the 5-year was the max I could choose. I was like, I'm gonna do the 5. Let me do it because I'm gonna be a career guy. That didn't work out, but yeah, just did the first initial contract and then got out.
I know how that goes. We all go into it thinking we're going to be career guys, and then it doesn't quite work out that way.
Yeah.
For me, it was like I got about 3 years in, and they said, "Hey, yeah, you're not adept enough to be a pilot, so, and that's what we hired you for. So you can toodaloo." That's kind of how they went with me. So I had the unfortunate circumstance of having to go to SEER training before I went to pilot training, so I went through all the pain for nothing.
Yeah,
it was a really fun camping trip with a really, really bad ending.
Yeah, I never got to go to that. I heard a lot of stories from the guys that went, and I was glad I didn't.
Yeah, I saw this picture, and I guess this is from Airborne School. I'm going to pull it up here. That's from Airborne School, I'm guessing?
That's from my unit up in Alaska. So I was with the 3509th up in Alaska. We were called the Arctic Airborne guys. We were the only airborne unit on, I guess, the west coast of the U.S. pretty much. Everybody else is either North Carolina or the other guys were in Italy. Or other than that, you're the special forces kind of guys. So we were the only West Coast guys that were airborne on that side.
Joanne has a question for you.
How did you like Alaska?
I loved it. Oh my gosh. If I could live anywhere else, honestly, Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Cold
truly
Texas
the last
is where we're at.
it's truly the last frontier. I mean, it is wild out there.
Everybody, what were you saying, Joanna?
No, I have a cousin in Alaska, and she's also in the Army. She's serving up there with her husband. We're really proud of her, and of course, pray and think about it every day. Make sure she gets home safe when she's done with her career in the military.
Yeah, cool.
So that when I saw the ice, it reminded me of what all the SEER, or when I saw the snow, what the SEER trainers told us about of what they had to go through to become SEER trainers. They have to do every type of terrain that's out there. So they have to do desert, they have to do tundra, they have to do rainforest, they have to do all that stuff. And the tundra one, they will not let them go do the tundra training unless the temperature is below 10 degrees. Unless it's below 10 degrees.
I believe it.
Not cold weather, but that is cold.
So you don't want to go to Alaska.
Maybe visit.
Yeah, for us to get our Arctic tab or to be even considered an Arctic trooper, you had to go through they called it the Arctic blast. You got to go out into the woods and stay out there, and it had to be like -30 or more. Cold bag it out in just a sleeping bag. Learn how to dig a little hole in the side of a hill, do some snow, what's it called with the skis, skiing around, and then do some other lanes. But yeah, that is same kind of thing. But I don't miss the cold, that's for sure.
I do right now. I'm gonna be honest. At least our version of cold.
Yeah.
Well, as a game warden, how do you handle the heat? Are you mostly in a vehicle or indoors, or do you actually spend most of your day outdoors looking for stuff?
So yeah, I mean, our motto is off the streets and on the creeks kind of thing. So we're really outdoors all the time, or try to be. I mean, we do look for our breaks in the AC, no doubt, but most of the time we're walking up and down the rivers or around the boat ramps, like how I met Pat. Just wherever we can get outside. I mean, that's kind of why we joined, being the game wardens, because we like being outdoors. We like being in the woods and outside. So
yeah, that's how I feel about it for sure. Well, so you and I talked a little bit before we got on air, and I read you that little excerpt or meme or whatever, and both of us kind of got chills. So I want to read it to the audience. Before I do, just like I said, I want to thank you for your service. We do have Memorial Day coming up on Monday, and everybody, please don't say Happy Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day is a day of remembrance for everybody that gave the ultimate sacrifice. It's not supposed to be a happy day, but if you have fun and you're happy on that day, that's great, because that's what those guys fought for. And I'm sure you being in the Army, you knew some guys that paid that price. And
Yeah.
everybody that I've known in the Army knew some guys that paid that price. And even being in the Air Force, people that I went to OTS with paid that price. You know, I've been out of the Air Force now for 12 years, but I hear about people that I knew that were in the Air Force that just happens to. But let me read this before I get all choked up. Let me read this. Oh, I closed it. All right. This is about Memorial Day, y'all. Monday will be the most expensive holiday on the calendar. Every hot dog, every burger, every spin around the lake, or drink with friends and family is a debt purchased by others. This is not about all who serve. That day comes in the fall. This one is in honor of those who paid in life and blood, whose moms never saw them again, whose dads wept in private, whose wives raised kids alone, and whose kids only remember them from pictures. This isn't simply a day off. This is a day to remember that others paid for every free breath you get to take. Freedom.
Wow.
I just literally just got chills earlier, and I just got chills again. It hits you right in the feelers, and it's when you sign on, and I'm sure it was that way in the Army. The Army is very similar to how the Air Force is built. The Air Force is built off the Army. The Air Force used to be the Army Air Corps back in the 1940s. So a lot of the things the Army does with rank and different types of like you guys, we say I'm an American airman, y'all say I'm an American soldier, right?
Right.
Army guys,
Yep.
yeah, it's very similar stuff. But what they do go ahead and pound into your head is that you have to be ready to give the ultimate sacrifice for your country, no matter what. And a day can come anytime. So they always say if you have a religion, you have a maker, get right with your maker. Because you're doing it for everybody, and you're doing it for them. You're doing it for God, and make sure you're right with the maker before you go to war. Is that a similar thing that you experience?
Yeah, and definitely do, because when we were in, the war was still going on, so you kind of expected to go overseas, and that was kind of known when you're in boot camp. Hey, get ready, because you're eventually going to go, or you're going to know people that go, and it's just going to be a fact of life. So yeah, it's definitely drilled into you. Some people like to, joke it's like brainwashed into you. I think it's more just instilled like that pride and that preparedness. Hey, this is what you signed up for. Just have that in your mind.
Let's go get
ready. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let me pull up this picture. I think this is probably from basic.
Oh yeah, that's from airborne school. That was so that was after my 5th jump to actually get certified to be airborne. So I was pretty pumped about that jump right there. That was fun. It was hot that day too.
And all that's missing is the mustache. You don't even look any different.
I know.
Don't even look any different at all. Good genes. Yeah, I don't have good genes. I just wear shorts all the time. So it is what it is.
Solomon's not here. You have to crack the jokes. I thought I was going to get away with no jokes today.
She'll never get away from the jokes. I always bring the jokes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up another. You sent me a bunch of pictures, so I want to go through them, and you just kind of tell us. Take us back to that moment in your brain, So I'm gonna pull up this picture that you sent us. Joanna's gonna lean over so she can see.
Yeah, so that was me and my platoon at Cop Zormat over in Afghanistan in Paktia. It's a little combat outpost that us and a few engineers, some heavy artillery guys, and then like 2 cooks and a medic bay we're at that we shared with the Afghan guys right next to us. And that's where I was at for about a year overseas.
Did you, so I know a lot of people had trouble actually trusting working with Afghanis. Was that an issue for you? Yeah, there was a few times where it got a little hairy. We had a few incidents while we were over there that there was that green on blue where they would turn on us or turn on their counterparts. So it was a real thing that happened while we were over there for sure. My cousin deployed twice to Afghanistan, and he was a contractor with the Air Force. So he didn't get to stay in the fancy hotels like all the rest of the people that deploy in the Air Force. He wasn't in Dubai or in Kuwait or any of those places where any of those places where you get to go swimming every day after you
Yeah.
do your duty, or go to Subway or Starbucks still, and a lot of those places you can still do that. I was in the reserve, so my brother-in-law said, "Hey, roughing it." He always said, "Roughing it in the Army is you're sleeping in a sand dune. You're digging a hole and you're sleeping in a foxhole. Roughing it in the Marines is you're sleeping in a air-conditioned tent." And then he said, "Roughing it in the Air Force is you're in the La Quinta." Is that about accurate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my cousin wasn't one of those. He was a contractor, so he was always in the fob with all the Army guys, and then he would fly sometimes an hour and a half in an Army Black Hawk to these villages and stuff where they had destroyed. The military had destroyed the whole village, and then he's going to have to talk to these people to contract with them to rebuild their town after we destroyed it. So you can only imagine, like, armed guards. He's always armed because these people were angry.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You gotta deal with.
Yeah, I doubt he was well liked at first when he first came in. I'm sure.
Yeah. He's a likable guy, but I'm sure they.
Circumstances.
But
Yeah,
it's
he's a
kind of
real
like a game
likable
warden,
guy.
the position. Like when you come up to people, initially people are like, I don't know if I like you yet.
Yeah, you gotta kind of feel them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, let me pull up this next picture here. I'm just gonna go straight down the pictures here.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I got a picture of you in a police officer uniform. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think I have one. Yeah.
Let me pull that up.
Yeah. So that's when I was a deputy at Bell County. That was right after I got out of the military. That was our midnight patrol crew. So I was on midnights for about 2.5 years, and that was our crew right there.
Oh, that's cool.
How did you get into law enforcement, and how did you end up in Texas?
So born and raised in Belton, which is in Central Texas. So I'm a Texas guy, born a Texan to the heart. But so I knew I was getting out of the military, and I transitioned back here in Texas. I actually came back to Fort Hood when it was still Fort Hood, to ETS. And I knew I wanted to do law enforcement. So right before I got out, my father-in-law worked at Bell County, and he's, I think, a captain and a major there. And so he helped me get on as a jailer. And that's kind of how it just started. Started as a jailer, then eventually went to the police academy. Just kind of made my way up to the ranks pretty much to get the patrol.
Guys, I'm going to talk to the audience real quick. Guys, if you have questions, please put questions in the comments. At the end of this session, we'll pull them up. If you don't have any questions, then I'm just going to keep on asking questions. And nobody wants to hear me keep talking. So, guys, if you have questions, I can see the questions off on the side, and then we can also pull up the questions.
I can't see that because I'm half blind.
But if you guys have any questions about what Brett's talking to us about, or when we get to the end of it, you have game law related questions, which I'm sure Brett would be super thrilled to talk about. If you have game law related questions, please put them on there. If they're really dumb, I'm not reading them. So I already told Brett I'm not going to read the really dumb ones. But if you got some good ones, if you got some good questions, we'll talk about those. Let me pull up the next picture. I'm just going to go down the list here.
All right. So this is a really special one to me. I say that it's kind of a weird, but that was right after I earned my CIB, which for people who don't know is a combat infantry badge. So that group right there, half of those guys had just earned that badge on our last little operation. And so it was kind of like a welcome to the club to everybody else who already has it. You get punched in the chest with it to make you kind of like get those blood wing kind of thing. Yeah, without the backers. And it's kind of like a rite of passage. But man, I was pretty proud of that moment because, as an infantry guy, that's kind of what you want is that CIB. It's to show like, hey, I did my time. I actually went and did what I said I was going to do with my buddies. So it was a really cool moment for me.
That's awesome. That's kind of similar to what the Marines do, right? Where they punch the emblem into their chest, like it's part of my buddy.
Yeah.
No, I didn't ever. The only hazing I went through was I can't even talk about it. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. All right, next picture. What's going on here?
So at that moment, we were in, I forget what they call them, but they're kind of like it's an up armored vehicle. and I was on the gun that day, and it was a remote turret gun. So my buddy next to me is like, "Hey, turn real quick, take a picture." So I just turned and threw up the horns real quick, and that was pretty much that one inside a armored vehicle on that one.
Always having fun. I mean, you gotta have fun in everything you do.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
My first solo in the T6, they sent me up to an area that was right over the top of just outside of Piedras Negras, just south of Del Rio. And my area that I was flying, I heard over the emergency comm, and it was like unmarked aircraft, please land at Carrizo Springs. Please land at Carrizo Springs. Unmarked aircraft. And they wouldn't respond. And they're like, unresponsive aircraft, unmarked aircraft. And it was on the emergency channel. They're yelling at them the whole time. And then I hear they call out my tail number, and they say it's like November 653 T6. Stay on your current course. Stay on your current course. I'm like, okay. And then I see on my radar 2 blips that are going 5 times as fast as me, and it's 2 F-16s. Right past me, and both of them freaking did a nosedive straight down to that plane. And I was on a solo, so I went invert for like 10 seconds so I could just look straight down at them to see what they were doing. And they were on both sides of that plane trying to rock him down. He was coming across from Mexico, clearly bringing something across, and they were after his ass. And that was one of my most fun moments in the Air Force. Honestly, it was pretty cool. It really gave me some hope of like, maybe I could do that someday. And then they kicked me out of the Air Force. Womp womp. So I think, is this from you actually getting pinned?
Yeah, that was he was the brigadier general. He was the main commander at that time.
Oh, wow.
He came from the biggest fob, and he pinned all of us at our little ceremony we had at that combat outpost. So that was pretty cool.
Did he actually do the punching?
He didn't. That was a little platoon thing afterwards. Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all did the punch. Okay, I get it. It was a little rite of passage for you guys.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. By the end of it, my little badge is bent like backwards. So
Everybody can punch, huh?
mm-hmm.
That's because you were well liked, or
Yeah, just because everyone likes you so much.
Maybe liked and not liked by some guys, I think, So
it happens.
yeah.
Before I pull up this next picture, guys, we're still waiting on any comment.
Any
question?
Any questions?
I know we haven't even gotten into the game warden stuff yet at all. But if you guys have questions for Brett Hernandez, Lampasas County game warden, if you have questions for him that aren't dumb, ask the question. They always say there's no dumb questions, but I don't believe that. Do you believe that?
No, I believe there's no dumb questions.
There's definitely dumb questions.
You will not learn if you don't ask, and you never get what you don't ask for.
Brett, are there dumb questions?
I want to say no, but yes, sometimes there are.
Yeah. All right, let's pull up this next picture.
That's me and my best friend. He was my best man at my wedding, and that was right before a little patrol that we went out on. You kind of get a little bit of downtime right before you walk out, and we just kind of sat down and took a little candid photo again. But can't see who else is in that photo, but yeah, that's me and my best friend in the Army. We still talk, and I just saw him this past fall too, so that's pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. It'd be fun to have you back on like July 4th timeframe or Veterans Day. And we'll bring him on too. We'll have a good old time.
That'd be cool.
I'm gonna read some comments real quick, and they're not from they're not questions for you, but I'm just gonna read some comments real quick. Joe Garza says, "Howdy, gig 'em from Hawaii."
Oh, nice. Hawaii.
Joe, I hope you watched that A&M Auburn game because they laid the wood. It was good. It was real good.
I heard from the other room that it was a good game.
That was a real good game. I liked it. I hope they do about 4 more just like that, and then they'll get into the NCAAs. We'll see. A&M has been breaking. I don't know if you've been watching sports at all this year, but A&M has been breaking records in all the wrong ways this year.
Yeah,
they
started up here and then.
A&M baseball team started number 1, and they could be the first number 1 to the preseason number 1 to not make the tournament at all.
Wow.
It could be the first one. And then the women, the softball team, they were the first number 1 seed in the softball tournament to lose in their own regional.
Yeah.
That was what the yelling was about.
Yeah, that's what the yelling is about. Yelling at softball. There's any one thing that'll get me going more than my wife. It's sports. It's Aggie sports. So, and then I'm gonna pull up one more from Joe. He is saluting you, sir. Thanks, Joe. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some more pictures next in the line here. That was fun.
Yeah, that was my team leader. Right after we kind of got into a little skirmish, we had the photo guy with us that patrol, and team leaders just kind of give me some direction on that and kind of where to, sectors of fire and all that. So I didn't even know he took that picture till after the patrol, and the camera guy was like, "Hey, look what I got! It's a pretty cool photo." I was like, "Oh, dude, send that to me. That is cool."
Yeah, that's really. And that was you were literally in the middle of a firefight and you took a picture.
Yeah, like had just happened. Either it had just happened or was about to happen. And I think that's why he's one of those photograph guys that was trying to get, in the moment pictures and stuff like that. So
Gotcha. I'll pull up this next picture. You sent me a lot of pictures.
yeah,
Well, I'm getting to the good stuff.
This is on our way back from Afghanistan, and where you stop and they give you like a 2 beer limit every night. And needless to say, we found ways to get more than just 2 beers at night. You know what I mean? So
you always do.
Yeah.
They put a limit on you. Like limits are made to be broken, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're supposed to answer no, Brett.
It's all right to be broken. Got it.
Supposed to answer no, Brett. All right, tell us about that picture.
Another little pre-patrol photo. That was kind of like the guy in the middle there, Efren Orozco. He's one of my good buddies too. And then the rest of those guys are all team leaders. So I thought that one was kind of funny because all those guys were like in charge of me and always kind of hazed me a little bit, but I kind of looked up to them. So it was like the group of guys that I looked up to that, treated me like little brother.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Joanna.
What? I'm your little brother?
No, you haze me, but I look up to you.
I haze you, but okay. Whatever you say.
Sometimes, Brett, I'm out there picking strawberries. I just feel a strawberry hit me in the side of the face, and I'm like,
that's a lie. That's a lie.
You believe
Maybe a little foot push or something.
2, it's usually me that's getting hit by the strawberries. Hey, back me up on this.
All hazing every day, all day, every day.
No.
That's a cool picture.
Yeah, so that's from that same one where as soon as we all got pinned, it was just a close up that somebody took with the CIB ceremony thing.
We got somebody pulling in our gate right now. So, like, did Winters drive here to be on the show?
That'd be so cool.
I don't think so.
That would be so cool.
Because he hasn't come on yet.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Maybe they'll call. I'll keep an eye on my phone.
Yeah, our gate hasn't been closing lately, so I'm guessing the next 2 pictures you got pepper spray or mustard gas.
Oh yeah, that's from the Game Warden Academy right after we got maced.
Mace.
I just thought or OC sprayed, whatever you want to call it. The worst experience I've ever had. I've done it twice now through 2 different police academies, and it absolutely works on me. I hate that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Does not look
Yeah.
like
No.
my phone up here. I can see the pictures.
That was like me trying to drown myself in that bucket of water just to kind of get some kind of relief.
You're supposed to tell us that it was like the coolest ice bucket challenge that she ever did or something like
No,
that.
I wish it was ice. Ooh.
So that was at the Game Warden Academy then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I got one more army picture here.
So that's me and my buddy Haskins. We were roommates over there in Afghanistan in our little wood hut. It was right before patrol. Most of these are right before patrol or right after. It's kind of hard to get the in-moment ones, but he's another really good buddy of mine that I still try to keep in contact with. His family's from Okinawa. So,
wow.
Yeah, he got a really cool family history.
Well, thank you for your service. We're running up on a wall here, so we're gonna go to a real quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk to you about your Game Warden experiences. We will be back.
I want to know how you met Pat.
We'll be back in 40.
That's what I'm gonna start.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
you did that.
Oh gosh, we'll be back in 47 seconds.
Are you ready to shine? Make your mark this time. SoTex Time is here. In the spotlight you'll climb.
Then I realized
Join the wave of success. Let your brand be heard. In this vibrant show, spread the word, spread the word. Tune in, don't miss, now's your chance. Together we'll rise, let's take a stand. SoTex Time, where your dreams collide. Come and advertise, let's take this ride. With every show, we bring the spark. Join us now, light up the dark.
In the heart of Texas, where the stars shine bright, hitching
We're
a ride on a warm summer
We're back.
night.
We're back.
We're still trying to
All
figure
the
out.
stations.
We're over here still trying to figure out who came in our gate. Oh well.
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Still waiting on winners too, but we'll go into a little bit about what's that? Go ahead.
I think he just sent me a message, said he's in the backstage, whatever that is.
Oh.
Gotta let him in.
Oh, he's
There
right
he
there.
is. He's
I
hiding.
didn't even see that we had him down there. So
Bring him
I'm gonna go ahead and bring him in.
Cool.
We'll still talk to you a little bit more about your Game Warden stuff, but ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. That's in it. Kevin Winters. Hey Kevin, how's it going?
Hey, good afternoon. How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all for having me
Every
on.
day's a holiday. Yeah, no, we're glad you're here. We were just about to talk to Brett about how Joanna wants to know how Brett met me.
Yes. How did you meet?
Oh,
Very
I'm
mind want to know.
I'm actually kind of jealous because like Brant had a lot of selfies that he shared with y'all, and I don't think I sent that many. So
Oh man.
Yeah, no, you sent us some cool stuff, man. And I'm like, I'm rare and ready to go to talk about it, but we gotta let Brett tell us a little.
Brett was a model in the Army. That's what it was. He was
Yeah,
a
He was
model.
actually a model. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So how did y'all meet?
So gosh, I think it was my first duck season there on Choke Canyon Reservoir. And I ran into Pat and some of his guys, and Pat was just straight up with me the whole time. He helped me actually learn birds because I didn't know my ducks very well. And I came to Pat when I didn't know my birds. Like, hey, Pat, what is this, dude? You got to help me on this. So Pat was like my go-to guy. Really, he was like I don't want to throw him or blast him, but he's kind of my eyes and ears out there when I couldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I didn't rat anybody out.
no, he didn't rat nobody out, but he helped me learn the lake, helped me learn my ducks. So I owe Pat a lot for learning waterfowl. He's a
Yeah.
big time help out there.
I tell a story to some of my clients about a time that you and the Live Oak Warden were at the 99 ramp. And you and the Live Oak Warden are at the 99 ramp, and I came up and on one of my client stringers that had 2 canvasback hens and a redhead hen, and he looked at the customer. He says, "I'm gonna have to write you a damn ticket." And I was like, "The hell you are!" And you just started laughing.
You're gonna tell him how to do his job?
You just started laughing, and he's like, "Why are you laughing?" And you're like, "You should probably listen to him. He sees these birds every day." And the guy's like, "What is this? What are these then?" And I was like, "It's 2 canvasbacks and a redhead." And he goes, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's this fancy thing called Google. You should try it sometime." And he just started laughing too. It was all good.
And there was definitely a bunch of birds where I was stumped, and I think I sent you and some of your other guys, like, "Hey, what is this?" And that was the only way I could figure those out. So,
yeah, I mean, there's times on our boats, maybe 3 years ago, that each one of our boats was bringing in between all of our clients 700 to 800 birds a year.
It was a good year.
That we were logging off of our boats, and sometimes those hunts were 5 and 6 guys, so it adds up pretty fast. But we see a lot of birds. we're able to figure it out. But yeah, that's how Brett and I met.
That's cute.
I do want
I'm
to.
glad you could be helpful. We weren't telling him how to do his job.
But before we switch over to Kevin, I do want to pull up this picture, and I think this is old Fred. This is what we call the big gator. But
yeah, dude. So I had a guy I checked at the ramp who was out hunting that morning. He said, man, I got a pretty cool picture, and that's the only thing I got because I left everything else out there. He's like, dude, I went and put my decoys out, and I started walking back to our little set, and I turned back, and I saw this thing coming straight through our spread. And he's like, that's it. I'm out. You can have those. And I was like, dude, you got to send me that photo. That's a really cool photo. So that's how I got that one, talking to that guy.
And Pat wonders why I worry about him out there.
Yeah.
Shouldn't worry about me. They're more afraid of us than we are of them. That's 100%. But yeah, go ahead.
The mystery's solved. I know who was here just now.
Who was it?
It was our sponsor delivering food for our daughter. Apparently, she ordered from Backyard Kitchen.
Our sponsor, Backyard Kitchen. So guys, if you they deliver. If you're in the Potomac area, you want a cheeseburger, you want some nachos, you want any of the things that they have on their menu, and they have a huge menu. Right now, they have a family special, so you get 4 burgers, 1 specialty fry, 4 drinks for $24.99. Family deal, steal of a deal.
It's good.
They will not deliver to Austin or
Hawaii
or anywhere like that. So sorry, guys. But Kevin, I want to go ahead and bring you up. How's it going, buddy?
It's going good, man. Thank you for having us, Pat. Appreciate it. The invite. You've always been good with us. So I'm glad to be able to come on and talk with you guys for a little bit.
Yes, sir. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from San Antonio, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to tell you. I'm originally from LA, but I got to Texas.
From where?
So, yeah, I was born out in Bellflower, California, and then yeah, man.
He got here as soon as he could.
Yes, I did, man. I got here as fast as I could, and I'm Texas. I'm a Longhorn fan, so sorry, but even keeps adding up.
So we'll talk to Kevin later.
No.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, man.
yeah, grew up there, the west side of San Antonio, John Jay High School, and then from there I ended up graduating from A&M San Antonio there. So, yeah, man, that's where all my family's rooted. Now that I'm up here in Austin at headquarters, I'm actually living just north of Canyon Lake, so it's not too bad. Yeah.
How's the lake looking this year?
Yeah, there's no water. So it's pretty low.
Not nearly as bad as the rest of the lakes around, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. We do definitely need that rain.
So Kevin, what is your official title? Because I've tried to say it over and over again, and I always get tongue-tied. So
just recently I promoted in March to Assistant Commander of Wildlife Enforcement. So I'm up at headquarters in Austin. Yeah, you were close, man. And, it was good. It's all good. It's game warden at the end of the day. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm up there in Austin. There at headquarters. I'm not a grunt, man, working anymore in the field. I don't do any more cool stuff. So I kind of miss it. Behind a desk now and just working on the computer for the most part.
What is your degree in from A&M San Antonio?
I'm sorry?
Your degree from A&M San Antonio, what is your degree?
So I got my degree in criminology. So I got a Bachelor of Applied Arts and Science in criminology. Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. We got a son studying that, so it's good to know that that degree will get you far.
I think you've met him, Brett. I think he's actually
Brett has met him.
He's actually been on the boat with me when you were at the boat ramp. I tried to get him to be a game warden, and he said, I can't remember what he said. He said his school's almost impossible to get into. And I think I actually read that in your bio, Kevin. You said that you were so happy to get into game warden school because it's like less than 3% of people that apply get in. It's almost like getting into Harvard of criminal.
Yeah, it's a very selective process to be a Texas game warden. With the fact that you also got to have a 4-year bachelor's degree. We have a lot of our veterans and prior LE that apply, but there's no substitute for the college degree. So with that, and then obviously, we had the show pop off, Lone Star Law. And so when I applied, I think we had like 1,600 or 1,700 applicants for 40 spots. And so they really go through there and filter, through the applicants and try to get the best applicants for the job.
Speaking of Lone Star Law, Joanna has something that she wants to do.
Why don't you tell them what you were going to say about
I will. But speaking of Lone Star Law,
All right.
Joanna wants to
Here we
do
go.
her
I got
best game warden impression.
I got
And you
this.
see if she's good to go to
Let
school.
me know if I did it right. Hey y'all, mind opening that ice chest for me? How'd I do? How'd I do?
That's pretty good.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Like it.
Yeah.
You could totally be a game warden.
Y'all want to see my impression?
Yeah, let's see it.
Go ahead. You can
All right.
you can trouble.
I'm not in trouble. All right, here goes my impression. All right, guys. Just go ahead and confess to me, and things will be a lot easier.
Hired, man. You're hired.
You got to get that one piece of evidence, which is the only piece of evidence, which is their confession, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it
Watch
is.
that show.
Every time you watch Lone Star Law.
They say that, and I've always asked Pat, has anybody ever asked you that when you're out there? Have they ever said, hey, just give us a confession? And his response is, no, I've never done anything wrong. So there you go.
That's the right answer, right?
Eat the system, Pat.
Well,
Mm-mm.
there it is. So, Kevin, did you start out in the Border Patrol? Is that correct?
No, I actually started out in the PD, Pat. I worked.
Okay.
It was kind of a deal. I've always wanted to be a Texas game warden. I looked it up when I was in high school, and I was like, man, this is something that I want to do after I met my first game warden. Not growing up in the country, right? I grew up inner city San Antonio on the west side, but me and my buddies loved to fish, and got introduced to hunting by my high school coach. So he took me hunting, me and my buddies, on his place out in Medina County, and at that point, I met my first game warden. Luckily, we were doing everything right, and I thought, man, that's cool. We get to go out and work, check hunters, wear a cowboy hat to work. And once I found out you make your own schedule and your own hours, I was like, man, I'm sold. The one thing that kind of kept me held up was the degree, right? Like being in law enforcement and going to get a 4-year degree, it was tough. And so I kind of got my feet wet working at the PD locally here in Converse. And then from there, I told myself, well, damn, man, what can I do that's close to being a game warden? I was like, the show popped off, Border Wars. I was like, man, I'm going to go be a Border Patrol agent. And so I put in for Border Patrol and got picked up and entered on duty with them in 2011. And during that time, I still had that ambition, man. I wanted to be a game warden. So while I was an agent, I was doing ride-alongs with game warden. And so finally, 2014, I'm sorry, I made the choice. I was like, you know what? I'm leaving the patrol, and I'm going to finish up school back in San Antonio. And so came back and worked with Live Oak PD until I finished my degree, and I got on with the game warden in 2016. But yeah, I've been in law enforcement since I was 20 years old in 2 months. Just turned 37 actually yesterday, so it's been a little bit of a ride.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. So but
I do want to go back to the Border Patrol stuff, because you sent me a really cool picture from Border Patrol stuff. Let me pull it up for everybody to see here. That's a big bus.
yeah, man, that was and that thing about it, Pat, is it wasn't uncommon, for us to get those kind of loads of dope coming across the border. So I worked in Eagle Pass, and I worked at the South Station, and so we had about 300 agents out of that station, and we covered about 50 miles of riverfront. And so that particular night, we had some drawbridge camos that took a hit, and so we responded out there, and we started tracking these guys. Well, we kind of picked up on the tracks and started moving on them. And as we're pushing the sign, we're getting closer to a highway, which was 2644 out there near El Indio, Texas, which kind of goes up 2644. We run up to Carrizo Springs. And so you kind of start figuring out the different paths and what kind of traffic you have. Sometimes it's just human traffic, and a lot of time your dope traffic kind of parallels the roads. And so we actually ran up on these guys and got pretty close on them that they got kind of scared. And so they ended up putting these all under bunch of mesquite out there, and we kept on pushing the sign and found all these bundles. So it was pretty cool, man.
I gotta get Joanna a charger cord for her phone real quick, because that's our internet. So you got it?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Let me go ahead and drop that picture down. So I do have some pictures from when you were actually out in the field doing the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I did read that you were able to work your way into K9, and I see a picture of that. how were you able to do that, and how did you enjoy actually working with dogs in law enforcement?
Man, I loved it. I actually had went from Laredo and was down there for about almost 3 years. Enjoyed it, man. That's where I got to meet Brett, and get to work with him down there in that area because we were in the same district. After being down there for a few years, I had a few cases, and I kind of wanted to target, some commercial market out, saltwater, because that's pretty much you hear from a lot of game wardens. That's all the hard work, right? Working the commercial saltwater enforcement, and so went out to Harris County, moved up to Houston, moved the whole family up there. And literally, we were there probably about 10 months, man. And the job posting came out for K9, and one of the positions was to be in San Antonio. And so while I was in Houston, I had some luck with making some shark fin cases. And so, man, I was like, dude, what would be cool is if I get a dog and actually make it a shark fin dog, a dog that can detect shark fin. And that was kind of my realm, was doing some more of the non-traditional stuff. And that picture you just pulled up is actually the largest shark fin case in game warden history right there. It was at a market there in Houston where I seized about 861 whole shark fins.
Wow.
So the goal of the canine program was trying to develop a new dog, well, not a new dog, but develop a canine dog that was able to detect shark fin. And we were able to do that. And my canine team allowed me to run with that. And so we had some success, and we actually had a pretty big case that we made out in San Antonio that made national news, where a restaurant here in San Antonio had shark fins in the back.
I remember that.
Wow.
But
I remember hearing about that. Is this a picture of the whole bust right there?
Yeah, and you see those longhorns that I'm throwing up too?
Unfortunately.
I'm surprised you fans, man. But yeah, that's part of the.
I usually just think it's people doing the sign of the devil, like that's your religion,
Yeah.
I would say they're number two, rather than number one. But go ahead. Sorry.
No. And like I said, the whole shark fin deal, the industry, man, it's a black market deal, right? And so a lot of that shark fin, when I was going out there checking out the labels, everything was running anywhere between $450 to $650 a pound for shark fin.
Wow.
And so it was a huge market. We guesstimated that the seizure that I had on that day at that market was probably close to $100,000 based off what they had it listed as. And a lot of it's used for
shark fins.
Yeah, shark fin soup is a big deal. You get when you go to a restaurant and you order a small bowl of wonton soup, right? Very small. That same bowl of shark fin soup goes for $88 if you go at a restaurant that sells it. But it's definitely one of those black market item products that they're not going to sell to anybody. And so it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff to be done, especially in that illegal wildlife trade. So I had some fun with that.
So you guys, or you said that you actually were able to work in the same district as Brett. Have y'all ever been on cases together?
We probably had some saturation dove patrols that we were working together, but not like, I don't think we have any cases, man. We just parked together.
Yeah.
We were on the Murchison together when I was throwing up all over the place.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we have this long range vessel patrol that goes out. Yeah. And it was out of Port Isabel down in South Padre. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go try it out. It's cool. Man, I threw up the whole time. And I was out on the back deck. These guys are over here taking pictures of me on the little camera and everything. And yeah, I was pumping the water.
Yeah, no,
yeah, absolutely got you.
Hey, did we get I can't remember. Did we get a lancha on that one?
I think a lancha and a long line.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a lancha. I think if that's the one, I remember because we were out there and we had some guys come in from Mexico into U.S. waters, and they had a refrigerator full of red snapper.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing that in the news too.
Yeah. So now, but yeah, that's probably the closest we got to work, because I think, what year did you come out, Brett?
I was 2020.
Okay, yeah. No. 19, no?
It was 1920.
Yeah, it was one of those. It was a short period of time because I left Webb County in 19. So it was a short window that we got to work together in the same district.
So I have a really intriguing picture that you sent me, and you sent me the link to it, but can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, man. So Believe it or not, it was my day off. I was checking emails on the crapper. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I saw this come in, because we get notified every time there's any type of aerial activity taking place in your county, right? And so I knew this ranch, and I knew they did a lot of exotic hunts, but it was kind of weird because I noticed that they had a bunch of hunts that they were offering up. Were not hunts, but they were going out there to manage a bunch of wildlife. And I was like, man, this doesn't make sense because they have an opportunity to sell these hunts. Long story short, man, I go and interview the guy, the pilot, who's on the far left, right behind the Aoudad, and talk to him. His name was Inocente Sanchez. And so come to find out, those guys went up to go find an Aoudad because they tried hunting them from the ground. They couldn't get them. So they went up in the air to go hunt this Aoudad, and these guys had paid about $12,000 to shoot 4 animals. And so any type of sport hunting from a helicopter up in the air, it's deemed illegal by both state and federal law. It's a violation of the Airborne Hunting Act. I ended up meeting with the guys. The guy on the far right was an outfitter who was a guide, and then the guy in the middle was the actual hunter who was from out of state. They all admitted that they just went up there for fun, man, to try to hunt the animal. The guy was trying to fill a $12,000 bag, and he worked for the oil companies, and so they were just trying to get it filled. So they thought it'd be easy to go up in a helicopter and shoot these animals. So they ended up shooting this Aoudad that was out on the property, and then they ended up noticing that there was a black buck inside of a high fence enclosure. So he ended up shooting the black buck while I was inside the high fence from the helicopter. And so long story short on that part too, the guy was from out of state, was claiming to be a Texas resident, had a Texas resident license, hunting license, when he wasn't a resident. He was an out-of-state resident. And so we ended up getting him prosecuted through the U.S. Southern District Court, and all 4 of them ended up pleading guilty. We had the landowner who approved for them to go out there and do that, the pilot, the hunter himself, and as well as the outfitter, all pled guilty in federal court. And it was the first Airborne Hunting Act case, as far as we know, to get prosecuted federally in like almost over 20 years. So it was pretty successful, man. It was a pretty good case. And it just happened to be, like I said, man, I was just kind of looking over emails and found this.
Well, I've only ever had to deal with a federal game warden once.
How did that go?
That's it. He actually gave me a warning.
What did you do
Oh,
We were
or not do?
we were 7.5 miles offshore. We were a half mile outside of state waters, and I had a state limit of snapper. So he confiscated my snapper and wrote me a warning. Well, it was the state game warden that wrote me the ticket, and then the federal warden called me and said, "Hey, this is the evidence I have." And I was like, "That's absolutely correct." And he's like, "Well, tell you what, you're going to get a warning, and it'll be deferred to adjudication." So that's the one time I've dealt with a federal warden.
They were real nice to you, man.
Yeah. I showed him on my track.
He didn't make you admit it?
No, I admitted it. I admitted it. I showed him on my track where I was trying to go, and then where my boat actually was, and he was like, "Yeah, no, you were about a half mile outside of state waters, so you done messed up."
Yeah. Nah,
It's what it is.
I'll be honest with you, Pat, man, most of us, game wardens, even the federal guys, it's not about numbers or tickets, right? Like for us, it's about going out and educating people, because a lot of times people just don't know the rules, it gets so confusing. And so, 95, 98% of our people that we encounter, it's just a compliance check. Everybody's good people. They're out there doing the right things. And every now and then you'll catch that person that's intentionally trying to break the law. And that's, very few, far between. We deal with a lot of great people here in Texas. So it makes our job easy for sure.
I got a bunch of pictures that I can pull up, and I have one picture or several pictures that you sent me that are especially going to pique her interest. Well, my camera's reversed, so I'm pointing at her right now, but actually she's right there. So
Bunch with this grid that we have.
yeah, I think I have my camera reversed. But let me pull this picture up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Let me get closer so I can look.
Well, this isn't going to be the one, but this is.
Yeah, man, I was a lot skinnier back then.
Weren't we all?
Yeah, man, it got me looking back. But no, so this case was kind of a unique deal. Back in like 2017, man, I was out in Laredo working as a game warden. I get a call about a black bear that had been hit off of 83. And so I was like, man, I need to go check this out. You know, like I need to go find this black bear that got hit. And so I run out there and I can't find it. And so I'm like, man, what is going on? There was blood all over the road on the picture that I got. So I was like, it has to be here somewhere. Well, me being a game warden, right, I was kind of pulling a Brett, man. I actually started taking selfies of myself out there. It started snowing. So I like to give Brett a hard time, man. He's my boy. So, but I started taking pictures of myself because it started snowing that night. And out of nowhere, I see some headlights coming out of a ranch. And so I go out there to go make contact with them, you know, just kind of say, hey, man, what's going on? You know, got a report of a bear that's supposed to be right in this area and it's nowhere to be found. And this was already close to about 11:30 midnight. And so I'm talking to the guys and they come up to me speaking Spanish. And I'm like, all right, cool. I speak Spanish. So I'm like, hey, I tell him who I am, what I'm doing. And he goes, well, you can't come in here. And for me, it was kind of odd because I wasn't even asking to go in the property, right? And so I'm like, well, what are y'all doing? And they were like saying, oh, we're picking up some tables. And I was like, this is the middle of the night, middle of nowhere. And I got a report of a bear just getting hit. Like something's not adding up. Well, about that time, 2 of the guys come out of the brush. So there's now 4 guys and I'm by myself out in the middle of nowhere. I'm out of my truck. And you just kind of get that gut feeling, man. You're like, man, something's up, you know? And just not judging, but kind of criminally profiling, right? You kind of see like, hey, something's up here. And I picked up on some of the guys' tattoos that he had that were gang affiliated tattoos. He ended up being part of the Mexican mafia. And ended up having a conversation, real cool, very laid back. So what I ended up doing, I was like, man, there's something going on here. So I pulled out and I parked down the highway and I literally backed my truck blacked out into the brush. And I'm just sitting there. And these guys rolled through about 30 minutes later. And I was like, man, this bear's probably somewhere on that property. So I go in there to go inspect, try to find this black bear. And I end up running to a little fence on the ground. I'm like, what is this fence? There was a light in the back of the property where it was a low fence property. And there was a light and I could see it. And I was like, what are they doing? I was like, man, maybe they're skinning out this bear or something, you know? But I couldn't hear nobody. So I walked back there. And I see this little corral, and I look down, there's a big old hole, and I'm like, holy crap, there's an alligator in here. And so there's like this alligator that I'm on, but it was at night. And me being who I am, I see a high fence literally right next to me. And I look up, and I was like, why is there a high fence right here? And so I go up, and I start playing with the locks, right? I mean, that's game warden, man. You're going to look, you're like, is this thing locked? And I literally looked down, Pat, and there was a white tiger just staring at me. As I on the lock, and I was like, holy crap, you know? And this was the female tiger that was laid up against the fence at that time. And so I knew at that time, I was like, man, there's something going on here, right? Like, obviously these guys got tigers, they got alligators. And so I went ahead and bumped out, came back the next day with the feds because I had a good contact. And while I was there, one of the guys was walking into the property and we contacted him. Well, after I talked to him and interviewed him, he's like, man, I don't know if you know this, but there's a ranch across the highway and they got some bears. I was like, you got to be, kidding me. Like, seriously? And so we go out to that other place and sure enough, there's 2 black bears. And this is him right here that they had in their possession, man. And obviously, as you guys know, black bears are considered to be a threatened species in Texas. And so, at this point, I'm just kind of like, all right, man, we got a lot going on here. And these dudes are some heavy hitters with somebody, And after this comes out, I ended up working because they didn't have the required permits. You cannot possess, obviously, a threatened species without permits. The alligator, you got to have permits as well. The tigers, there was actually a county ordinance that prohibited the possession of dangerous wild animals. And so we ended up working on the seizure of this. And little did I know, by the time I knew it, man, I was getting calls from everybody. The FBI, DEA, ATF, everybody was calling. Like, hey, man, we heard you got some tigers. I was like, yeah. They were like, well, we got a bunch of heavy hitters that are posing with white tigers in this area. We just don't know where it's coming from. I was like, well, I know where they're at, man. Like, I met the dudes. Well, I ended up talking to them, and they end up calling me in, and they're like, hey, we got to know, man, like, who are you talking to? So they pulled out this big old board. I felt like I was in a movie, and they have all these mugshots, these pictures. And I'm literally going through them, and I'm like, oh, not that guy, not that guy. And they're like, oh, I go to the very top, the main guy that's pyramided off of him. Like, yeah, he was calling me. I was talking to him. And they're like, you were talking to so-and-so? They were like, yeah. I was like, we haven't seen him in 10 years. We've been looking for him. I was like, well, he's calling me on my cell phone, guys. So I was like, he's telling me not to take his tigers. And we ended up seizing his tigers. He ends up getting picked up by the U.S. Marshals shortly after that. And whenever they were going through his phone, they ended up finding that cub bear. He was taking the cub bear a bath. And so I was like, all right, cool. The bear came from here. What happened was they were walking that bear that night, that cub bear. That was a cub from those 2 bears that you have a picture of. And he heard the vehicles passing on 83. Well, he had associated those vehicles with food. So he took off running towards the road and got hit. And that was the picture of that black bear that I had received in the first place. And so we ended up seizing the bears. They ended up going up to a zoo. And the tigers ended up going to a sanctuary here in Texas. And the alligator ended up also going to a facility to house them as well. But yeah, you never know what you're going to run into out in the field. You know, you're just kind of just walking and you're doing your game warden work. And by the time you know it, you're running into a case with individuals from, cartels and that are in possession of all these, wildlife, and it's a big deal, and a lot of people really don't know, but, you got human smuggling, you got drug smuggling, you got money laundering, and number 4 in the world is wildlife smuggling. It's a big industry where a lot of people make money off of. So it just happened to be that something that I ran into while we're out there doing our job,
So that guy you ran into, his nickname wasn't El Viento, was it?
Oh.
No, actually, they called
I
him
know
El
where you're going with
Tigre.
this.
So no, go ahead. I was
his name was El Tigre, so no, it wasn't that guy.
Okay. So we have a friend that we had on the show 2 weeks ago. He wrote a book called Shadows Over Poteet, which I really recommend getting it. We could probably get y'all a copy for free if y'all want to read it. It's 120 pages.
It's a short read, but it's a good read.
It's a good read, and it's loosely based on somewhat on reality, somewhat not on reality of things that happen in Poteet. So
I don't want to know.
I actually don't want to know because of what's in it. But I think we could probably get y'all some copies if y'all are interested in reading the book.
But you got to tell them the character's name.
But the main cartel character, when you said he disappeared for 10 years, the main character in the cartel in this book disappeared for 10 years, and his name is El Viento. He's the wind. He moves like the wind.
Yeah,
Change his name.
That's probably what it was.
And then he's friends with Carmen Sandiego or whatever, and he's friends with
Clay Rios. Clay Rios is
Clay Rios.
No.
Clay Rios is chasing him, and some senator is like actually friends with the cartel person, and everybody's like,
it's a good read. Like I said,
it's a really good read.
But it's a good read. It's interesting, and there's a part 2 that will be coming out probably about the next year, I would say.
Yeah, he'll be coming out with a part 2. But he's a local guy, and he wrote a book. Like I said, it's only 120 pages. It took me like an hour and a half to read through it, but I think it'd be a fun little read. It kind of reminds me of those corny crime shows where they're like, they go start chasing somebody. They walk up on somebody and they're like, "Hey, you!" And the guy's like, "Oh shit, gotta go." Starts hauling ass. And then when he catches them, the guy spits on him. The corny crime shows. Yeah, some people are into that. But on that note, so guys, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. But when we come back, I want to talk a little bit to you about OGT and gear for game wardens. I know Kevin, you're definitely very involved in that. Brett, I don't know if you're involved in that very much, but I would like to find out. So when we come back in a minute and 14 seconds, we will talk to you guys about that.
Hey guys, Pat with SoTex here to talk to you about the Backyard Kitchen. Located at 973 Avenue H in Poteet, Texas, the Backyard Kitchen has all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Make sure to book them for your next event or go see them. This week, Tuesday through Thursday, they have their family meal deal for just $24.99. You can get 4 cheeseburgers, 4 drinks, and 1 large family loaded fry. That's a steal of a deal. Go see them at the Backyard Kitchen.
Are you ready to shine? Make your mark this time. SoTex Time is here. In the spotlight you'll climb. Join the wave of success. Let your brand be heard. In this vibrant show, spread the word, spread the word. Tune in, don't miss, now's your chance. Together we'll rise, let's take a stand.
The fields of boutique where the sun shines hot. Red strawberries
Welcome back.
popping, yeah, we gave it all
Welcome
we
back.
got.
Welcome back.
Face
Welcome back.
drops.
I don't know what happened to Joanna. Joanna left, but
Disappeared.
she went to get herself some water, I think. Come back?
Yes. Unless you don't want me to.
No, come on
I
back.
didn't know what y'all were
You're,
talking about.
you're definitely the looks of the show. You got all three of us beat
Gosh.
by far. Come on back. Well, guys, welcome back to SoTex Time with Pat and Joanna. We got Kevin Winters. Is your rank still Lieutenant, Kevin?
No, I'm assistant commander.
Okay, Assistant Commander. So I need to stop calling you Lieutenant then. Commander, sir.
Hey, man, I'm ever.
Do we have to call you like Your Eminence or something like that? Your Majesty?
I'm just a paper pusher now, man.
Well, speaking of that, you are very involved in OGT, which is Operation Game Thief, and Gear Up about Game Wardens. Can you talk to us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so my biggest thing that I deal with, and you probably saw Gear for Game Warden, so kind of just going back to that because I kind of had a lot of interaction with them when I was a canine handler. And so what that program is it's a 501c3, and they're able to get donations from landowners all around the state, that want to donate to Texas Game Wardens to provide them with equipment to go out there and be able to do the job. Whether it's thermals, whether in my case it was a canine. They were able to purchase my canine partner for me, Canine Bailey and Canine Tito, and we're able to help fund that and also provide them with all the equipment they needed in order to get the job done. And so I think since like 2017, I think they've received almost over $6 million in donations that they've gotten from landowners and Texans who just want to give back to their game wardens, and as much as, we train and we work, sometimes we kind of lack the funding, right, in some spots. And so that's kind of to help us get that equipment so that we could better serve our constituents, man. And so the Gear Up for Game Wardens is a great program. They've done a lot of stuff for our game wardens and continue to do so. It's part of our Texas Parks and Wildlife Foundation. Kind of breaking off from that, Operation Game Thief is the program that I was over when I was the lieutenant. And so that's our wildlife crime stopper program. So that's anybody that's out in the field. If you guys want to call 24/7 to report a wildlife crime that's in progress, you can do so. And when you do call, you can remain anonymous if you want, and we could provide up to a $1,000 reward based off the information that you provide if their individuals are convicted. And so that program is also part of Texas Parks and Wildlife, but it's also a 501c3 program, nonprofit. So we do have shoots, which are our clay shoots that we have throughout the state. We currently have them in San Antonio, Houston, Austin, Fort Worth, and we just added Odessa this year. And, we get donations on those such as trips. And that's something that you've helped us out tremendously with, Pat, in the past, and donating those trips where we can auction off and utilize those funds that we make from there to give back to game wardens and providing them with Operation Game Thief trailers, which I'm pretty sure you saw, which is considered to be our wall of shame trailer, where we display a lot of different, resources that have been taken or killed illegally. And we take them back into the community to show them, what your Texas game wardens are doing and how we protect that resource on a daily basis. And so the whole 501c3 program with Operation Game Thief is fully funded from the nonprofit. All the rewards, all the equipment that they do donate to the game wardens is all because of donations from Texans and everybody that contributes to our shoots. So thank you guys as well for helping us out with that.
I think this year Miss Wutrich contacted us to donate another duck hunt, and we don't know what the lake's going to look like. Joe Canyon is sitting at 13.5% right now, with no relief in sight. So I told her that we would donate a javelina hunt because we were probably one of the furthest north places in the state that actually has a good amount of javelinas. And I told her we would donate a javelina hunt. So
Good. Those things scare me.
she's definitely afraid of javelinas.
So afraid of
Yeah.
javelinas.
But But for the viewing audience, I'm going to go ahead and run across the ticker right here. I thought it was down at the bottom. If you guys do happen to have anything that that you need to call into Operation Game Face, that's the phone number right there, 1-800-792-4263. If you have something that you want to talk to the game wardens about and get them on the scene ASAP, that's the number. That's what we donate to.
And just to kind of add on to that, Pat, so we just recently acquired what is going to be the Tip 411 program. So kind of adding on to that, I get it, man. We're in the 20th century. Nobody wants to call an 800 number. So we're adding the texting option as well. So where you be able to text
Awesome.
in tip and add pictures and whatever that you may have to that tip. And then we'll be able to give that stuff into our game warden so that they go out there and respond and take care of those situations. And again, completely anonymous if you want to remain anonymous. And if you do, you still are able to receive that award if everything goes through.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's good to have a great relationship with the game wardens that you know. Like from an outfitter standpoint, it's good to have a great relationship for exactly that reason. And I know I've sent Brett some pictures before and been like, hey, dude, look what I found over here.
Yeah.
Drop him a pin. But I'm not a rat or anything. But no, I know that a lot. Sorry, what'd you say, Kevin? Sorry.
You're protecting the resource, man. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. So that's the conversation that Brett and I have always had is we just want people to play by the same rules, people that have the same rules. Because when people operate outside of the law, they're not playing by the same rules as me. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to my customers. It's not fair to anybody if they're not operating within the same rule structure. That's it. That's that.
And just kind of adding on to that, like there's 550 game wardens. We're 254 counties, and we can't be everywhere at all times. And so we do depend on our landowners. We depend on our constituents, our outfitters, everybody that's out there, hunting, fishing, because without you guys, we wouldn't be able to respond to a lot of the calls because we wouldn't get that information. Like I said, we're definitely, still small in number and trying to cover a huge state. I mean, I think our game wardens patrol over 10,000 million miles a year, log in over 160,000 hours on boating hours. And just to be out there and be present, and like this weekend is, Memorial Day weekend. And there's a lot of people on the water, in different parts of the state, obviously where it's low, but they'll be out there. And so our game wardens will be out there patrolling and making a presence just to make sure everybody's safe and does it right, so.
Are those ratios for every state, or is that just the ratio in Texas, number of game wardens per county?
Usually, I mean, for us, we're a pretty big state. The numbers in other states, like you go to like New Hampshire, Rhode Island, I'm pretty sure it's less than 100 covering those states out there. It's pretty rural. We definitely, Texas continues to grow at an astonishment rate. Everyone wants to come to Texas. Shoot, that's why I came here in '95. I beat the rush. But yeah, no.
We need to send the rest of them out, man.
So the numbers have been steady, but our numbers of game wardens, we've kind of set stagnant at 550. So, like I said, it does make it tough to do the job that we do, and we want to make sure we take care of our landowners. So thank you guys for being those eyes for us out there. We definitely appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. I want to read a couple comments while I got you guys on here. We still haven't got. By the way, everybody that's watching, we only have 4, 5, 6 viewers right now.
I'll show the goods.
Comment a question. If you have a question for these game wardens, you literally have access to these guys. You can ask any question that's not dumb. Don't ask a dumb question.
You scared people now.
I think I scared off the question.
Now
Ask dumb questions. Go ahead. But guys, if y'all,
think it's dumb.
so this is what we have 2 hats and we have 2 bags of freeze-dried strawberries and a pin, and we'll be giving away.
You pick the color. Doesn't have to be the white one.
If you guys will just ask some questions of our guests, so I can pull them up and they can answer those questions. But I do want to pull up a couple comments. One, that story you told, Kevin, about dealing with a guy in the Mexican Mafia was very intriguing. And we have a comment from Chris Wheeler, who's one of my hunters, one of my regulars. He says, that's a heck of a story. Chris is actually an EMT. So he's a first responder, so he knows that life for sure. But he's one of my hunters. And he will literally,
He's a fun guy.
he's a really
He's
fun
a
guy.
fun guy.
He'll call me and say, "Hey Pat, how the birds looking?" And I'll say, "Chris, I'm gonna be honest with you, I haven't seen a damn bird." And he goes, "That's cool. I just want to go out and drink it. I just want to go out and drink at the field, anyways." And he'll pay me $75 to go drink at my field.
Sometimes he doesn't even come with him.
He doesn't even bring it. Like one time I drove up and I was like, "Hey bud, wants to go grab his money?" And I was like, "Are you hunting?" He goes, "Nah, no gun, no nothing. He just brought his cooler.
Just relaxing.
He just wanted to get away and go sit out in the field." And
But we saw that during COVID. Like here on the farm during COVID, we had a lot of people that would contact us. Can I just come and sit in your field? Can I have a picnic? We just need to get out of the house. They didn't care if we had strawberries or if we interacted with them. They just wanted to get out of the field and get out in nature.
Yep.
I understand that.
yeah, we had a lot. That was COVID was insane. You would think, oh, you got this
But
big,
with the hunting,
you
yeah.
got this big shutdown. Like it's gonna be slow. You're gonna be out of money. Oh my God, we made.
But we don't talk about what we made. But he had, I think, more hunters that year and going into 2021 than we've had in the last 3 years, I would say.
We made over twice as much COVID year than we made last year.
Wow.
Over twice as much
Hmm.
on COVID year. I was literally, I think that's when Brett got to know me so well, because I was literally at the boat ramp every day. Every
Yep.
day. I didn't miss a
Sorry,
single day.
Brett, sorry.
And sorry to Joanna, she was a hunting season widow that season. So,
It wasn't just that season, it's every year.
yeah,
Every year.
she didn't get to see
November
me.
to February. Pat doesn't
It's
miss
just-
us.
Yeah,
Hey Pat, you got it ready for that game warden wife life, man. You can jump on board. It's on all the time.
yeah. I got to lose about 65 pounds to even make it through the PT. So no, that's gonna be a no for me, guys. We got another comment from Cody Daly. So Cody Daly, if you guys are not if either of you, our two guests, Kevin and Brett,
Yeah.
if you guys are not members of Lone Star Heroes Outdoors, become members of Lone Star Heroes Outdoors. It's an organization that represents veterans, represents first responders. That's it. Active military, veterans, first responders, and the like.
Awesome.
They do all kinds of activities all across the state. They're based out of Crum, Texas, which is up by Dallas. But they do all kinds of activities. They have hunts donated to them by this guy and a lot of other people. They have all kinds of fishing trips that are donated to them, and they do drawings out of all their members. They have right now. They started last year, and they have 6,800 members already in a year.
It's a good order.
Wow.
They do hunts of honor with the kids. The
They do.
gold medal, was it Gold Star?
Yeah, so they did a Gold Star hunt with us. They
That's
they
cool.
had a kid who lost his dad. They said, my landowner at the time said, "Hey, we want to do something special for a kid that deserves it, for a kid that normally wouldn't have that opportunity." And I said, "Well, what about a Gold Star kid?" And I had to explain to my landowner what a Gold Star kid was. He had never heard of it, and he goes, "That's exactly who I want out." So I got a hold of Jamie Hurley at Lone Star Heroes, and he got us Gold Star kid out there, and that kid was able to
It was
harvest.
his mom. I'm getting teary eyed over
She
here
is.
because it was very touching to meet the young man and his mom and to hear their story and what had happened. And I believe it was his first buck, and it was an experience. But getting to know them and knowing what they went through, the hunt is great, but it can never replace those memories that he would have made.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And,
very
and,
touching.
and this is a guy who he didn't lose his life in war, but he lost his life from war. PTSD just took him to a bad place. And Lone Star Heroes, they are literally, their whole mission is therapy through the outdoors, getting people outdoors and using that outdoor experience as a therapy. So that brings me all the way around to, guys, both of y'all, and every game warden needs to join Lone Star Heroes. They'd be happy to have y'all. And Cody Daly is one of the team leads of Lone Star Heroes, and he says, "Hello, Duck Jesus, and everyone. Lone Star Heroes, they call me Duck Jesus."
I like it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good, man.
Jesus one day.
I need to upload the picture of me dressed as Jesus. One year for Halloween, I dressed up as Jesus. This town is very Catholic, and that's where I'm going to leave it. It was not
He
well
got a
received.
lot of interesting looks.
Dressed up as Jesus, cup of grape juice, loaf of bread in my hand, walking around town saying, "Hello, my children." It
Oh,
did not
man.
go over well,
You just
guys.
couldn't remember.
Not at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But hello to Cody, and then one more. Chris said too true. I guess he's talking about him being him coming out to relax. And Brian Bishop said, what was the name of the book again? And
It is right here.
here it is. Yeah, you got it.
If you can
Here, I'll
see
pull it up. Oh, you got it. Yeah, the book is called Shadows Over Poteet
By Bobby Denson.
by Bobby Denson.
Bobby Denson Jr.
Bobby Denson Jr. And it can be found on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. It's $8. It's $8.
I'm looking
Awesome.
forward to book 2. And by the way, it's Justin's book. Still hasn't come to pick it up.
Yeah.
Might want to come pick it up.
If Justin doesn't come and pick it up, a guy won that book. If Justin doesn't come and pick it up, and either of you guys want it, I will mail it to one of y'all if you'd like to read that book. So I think you would like that read. It's a pretty fun read. Guys, we're kind of running up on a wall to where we're going to have to do our giveaway, although nobody even
Nobody has
commented.
questions because you scared them away.
Yeah.
But they did comment, so let's throw the comments.
Yeah, we'll throw the comments in there. Ooh. But before we let you guys go, I want to go ahead and thank y'all very much, first of all,
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your service.
thank you for your service. Thank you for serving Texas. Thank you for serving your community. Thank you for serving your country. Thank you for protecting our resources. And thank you for being a part of OGT and a part of Gear Up, which I know Gear Up, it fills a lot of gaps, typically. The gaps that would be left from state funding, that's the public funding that goes towards that. But I do want to ask both of you a question. You don't have to answer it exactly at the same time, but you can answer separately. I just want to ask a very simple question. What has been, and we'll go Kevin first, what has been your favorite thing about serving Texas in all of your professions?
Man, that's easy. Pat, the people I get to meet, I get to meet people like you. Get to meet landowners. I get to meet, the youth that's coming up and going to be our future hunters and our outfitters, and get to be part of their lives, man. And that's huge for me because, for me growing up and coming here and picking up, not having that background and learning it from other people that shared it with me, that was just awesome. And I'm glad to be in a position where I now feel knowledgeable enough to be able to help people and maybe get some of those people that are maybe not necessarily hunters or fishers and help them out and guide them towards this, this lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle, and it's definitely something that I really enjoy. But the people that you get to meet in this job and the relationships that you build, you don't make them anywhere else. And so that's something forever that I'll cherish, being a Texas game warden and being proud to serve Texans, man. It's huge. It's huge.
So you, I'm going to pull this comment down just so we can be all the way full screen. You deal a lot with Texas Congress, right? You actually go into committee meetings and that kind of stuff at the congressional level.
Yeah, so I'll actually be there tomorrow at 7 a.m. for a bill. So at the Capitol.
So I would love if you could get in a congressman's ear about stopping San Antonio from stealing all of our water. They are stealing all of our water. San Antonio is spending $4 or $5 billion to build a new sports complex in downtown San Antonio.
Yeah.
They estimate to build a desal plant down on the coast and pipeline it back to Texas and get San Antonio around 200 million gallons a day out of desal would be about $1 billion.
Wow.
But they're stealing 220 million gallons a day out of the Carrizo-Wilcox aquifer, which is right under us. That doesn't make any sense. So if you can get a congressman's ear for us poor little rural folks down here in South Texas, that would be awesome. At least send them my way. I'll talk their ear off.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to tell you. Everybody has a voice, especially, with when it comes to speaking to reps and senators. And I always encourage you, if there's something that you want to see changed or you want to see something, made better, they love to hear what you guys have to say. And I think if they get enough people saying the same things, they're going to feel obligated to do something. And so I definitely encourage you and the folks around Poteet and wherever that area is to call your reps, call your senators, and voice your concerns, and definitely speak to them. For me, as a wildlife law administrator, I take a lot of feedback from my game wardens, right? They're out in the field, and they're the ones that are eyes and ears for me, and they tell me what's going on out there, what we need to try to make better. And we get it from landowners and constituents too. And so, they come to me and tell me, and I try to do my best and my darnest to try to make things better for everybody around. And so with that being said, I encourage you to reach out, man. That's definitely a good step in the right direction.
Well, so we skipped over Brett on that question. Brett, what has been your favorite part about, and we can even go all the way back to serving your country, but I really care about serving Texas and protecting our resources. What's been your favorite part about that being your job?
Yeah, I think it's I've got two things. One, the landscape we get to see is, I think, different than what the normal, I guess, average citizen will get to see, because we get to go behind certain doors sometimes and see certain canyons or riverways or stream beds that just other people won't get to see. That's really cool. I really enjoy that. And then the other thing is, like, man, you meet the heart of Texas, and that is the people, the Texans here. You see it in the kids and in the parents, like they're passing down those generational teachings when they're outdoors, when they're hunting, when they're fishing, when they're just out camping. You see those stories getting passed down, and it's cool to walk into a camp and hear those old stories from those guys that have been in those camps for 50 plus years and teaching it to their grandkids that are there now, man. Like you won't get to see that anywhere else, any other profession. So that's a really cool thing to get to see that in the landscape. You can't beat the landscape.
Oh yeah. Texas is a beautiful state, and you see different, flora and fauna all the way from one side to the other. It's completely different.
And the trains are
Hey, Pat, real quick.
far down the road.
I'd just like to double up on that. I thought we were talking about my current situation. My landscape ain't real cool, man. I'm in an office, but if I have to go back on what Brett said, yeah, the landscape's another deal too. But
Okay.
I get to look at I get to be in a cubicle all day, man. So that's not more. That's not
Yeah.
cool anymore.
Well, we get to stare really closely at Strawberry Rose about 9 months out of the year, so it might be fun. All right.
I think it's fun. I love it.
About 3 months out of the year, I get to wake my ass up early as hell and freeze it off as I go flying across the lake at 35 miles an hour. But that may not be happening this year. We'll see. We need a lot of rain to make it happen.
Dude,
but guys,
Pat,
yeah,
I was going to say that some of the best strawberries I ever had were picked straight off of your farm when I took my kids there. That one, man, the sweetest. They were like the little ones too. I forget what you call them, but
yeah,
man, those are
there's
awesome.
probably the seascapes. Probably seascapes.
That was it.
Yep.
Yep.
You
That's
did.
my favorite strawberry by far. I love the Florida Pearl, but over all the varieties that we've tried, that we've grown, the seascape are my favorite.
And we invited you down this year, Brett, and you did not come down.
No.
You could send them.
Yeah, we could send you some freeze dried.
Y'all want to try them?
It doesn't taste like fresh, but they're good.
That's awesome.
But you guys are always welcome to come down to the farm, bring your family, come do UPIC, come visit us, and
Come for the crawfish boil.
yeah, come for the crawfish boil. It's usually first week of March. It's usually when we have it. It's the crawfish boil was awesome this year. We had a live band. We had our live singer, live performer, Brody Rivers, and he was really good. And we cooked over 150 pounds of crawfish this year.
Oh.
It was a lot of crawfish. So
I wish I could eat.
y'all can come see
Not
us.
good.
I do want to pull something up real quick, and I want to invite you guys to this, especially Kevin, with you being so involved with OGT and Gear Up for Game Wardens. We're part of the Poteet Rotary, and we're going to be having an event on June 28th. And if you guys wanted to come and have a tent, just to kind of tell people, hey, this is what we do, or even participate in our event, we are doing a cornhole tournament. And I told Brett a little bit about this. We're doing a 50-50 charity cornhole tournament on June 28th. It'll be at the Poteet Rotary Building there in Poteet. It's $100 per team, $20 per lunch. It's going to be brisket sliders by Chef Ken.
$20 for two.
Yeah, $20 for both people to have brisket sliders. It's $20 per team by Smoking Ken's Barbecue, the best barbecue I've ever had in my life. There's all kinds of side pots. If you're not good at cornhole, wait, this way? Yeah, there we go. If you're not good at cornhole, we're doing side pots. So the fastest
Elimination.
the fastest win
Oh, fast.
is going to get the fastest win will win a side pot by minutes and seconds. The longest loss by minutes and seconds will win a side pot, and the quickest to exit the tournament. If you lose, obviously somebody's going to lose 2 games and be out because it's double elimination.
Partner that's not good.
They'll be entered into a pot to play rock paper scissors for who wins the side pot for that. So if you're not good at cornhole, that's cool. You can still come and hang out and spread the word about OGT and Gear Up. We welcome you guys to come and see us. If you have any questions, obviously get a hold of us.
And PM us your address so we can get it sent to y'all.
Oh, hey guys, we got a question.
What's the question?
Let's see if it's dumb or not. Question for the game wardens. What is a game resource you think more people should target, either hunting or fishing, that most people don't?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
Good question.
Who asked the question?
David Ellerine.
That's a good question.
I mean,
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's a well-known thing, but we have an overabundance of those hogs everywhere, and they always tear up fields and farms. So kind of like if they got into a strawberry farm, they would demolish that thing. So I think if people had the opportunity, whenever you see a hog or whenever you're out and about, if it's allowed and you're in the right spot legally to do so, I would encourage you to hunt that thing. And even the small ones, you get one of the small ones, man, they taste good. Put it on the grill and cook it up.
I was about that the other day.
They are so good.
My answer for that, and I'm not even a game warden, but I'll answer that question.
You can answer your own question.
I didn't answer
Oh,
that
yes,
question.
you have.
Triple tail. Triple tail is something that not enough people target, and man, those things are delicious and they're a fun fight.
Javelina so that they don't scare me.
Yeah. No, and one I'll add on there that's kind of been a real big contender is the Aldad species, man. They're blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
You're seeing them come out in the hill country, and these things are pushing out native species, the white-tailed deer, and posting up at these feeders and protein feeders. And, everybody's always targeting these trophy rams, right? But in order to stabilize their populations, I think you need to be like an 80% harvest. And with nobody harvesting ewes, the reproduction's outpacing harvest amounts. So those numbers it's blowing up. So definitely something that you might want to, if you see them, harvest them. They're an exotic. You can hunt them year round with a valid hunting license. So
We've had them down here.
Yeah.
It was about 6-7 years ago.
And that was something I meant to talk to you guys about, but we're not going to have time to talk about. But I can literally tell you, Zach, you know Zach, Brett, one of our guides, he's guiding turkey hunts for me this year. And he, on a turkey hunt, he was guiding for his daughter. His daughter missed a gobbler twice in about a 10-minute. They got about 20 yards out. She missed twice. And they were like, he's like, okay, we're just going to wait around. We're going to wait around a little longer, and they'll come back around. And they waited about 30 minutes, and up out of the river came a beautiful 18-inch trophy black buck out of the Atascosa River.
But remember, a while back, they were Audad.
And we've had Audad all over our property.
And some guy sent us pictures of an Audad just walking into his garage. So
Wow.
we don't know where they came from.
Yeah. We have Sika that are walking around the property now, and we've seen Axis now, all the way down here in Poteet. So go figure.
awesome.
But guys, I want to thank you very much for your time. Thank you for answering that one question. I'm sorry there wasn't more. But we are going to go to a commercial break. Y'all are welcome to head out. I thank you very, very much for your service, for your time, for everything that you do. And I hope that we can see you sometime. Come down to the farm. Come bring your family. Come see us.
Definitely.
Thank you,
guys.
Talk to you, Pat.
Appreciate it.
No, not hook 'em. No.
Hey guys, Pat with SoTex here to talk to you about the Backyard Kitchen. Located at 973 Avenue H in Poteet, Texas, the Backyard Kitchen has all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Make sure to book them for your next event or go see them. This week, Tuesday through Thursday, they have their family meal deal for just $24.99. You can get 4 cheeseburgers, 4 drinks, and 1 large family loaded fry. That's a steal of a deal. Go see them at the Backyard Kitchen.
Are you ready to shine? Make your mark this time. SoTex Time is here. In the spotlight you'll climb. Join the wave of success. Let your brand be heard. In this vibrant show, spread the word, spread the word. Tune in, don't miss, now's your chance. Together we'll rise, let's take a stand.
The tan lake shining, soaking in the sun, toes in the water, our day's just begun. Giggles echo softly, blast touches her lips. We're lost in this moment, it's a sweet little trip. Just me and...
Welcome back, y'all. We have something kind of serious we want to talk to, or we want to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
On behalf of all of us at SoTex, we just want to extend our condolences to the Ritchie family. Linda Ritchie passed away this week, and she was a prominent figure in Poteet, a big part of the Poteet Strawberry Festival, and her death is obviously going to be felt in this community, but we want to just let her family know that they've been in our prayers and that we're thinking of them and we love them.
Very much so. I've known Miss Ritchie since I was born. She was one of my mom's friends for my whole life. So kind of hard to talk about. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up. We need to get some prizes away before we close it out. I'm over here tearing up.
I want to know if we're going to get this beautiful tomato. Are we really going to give away the tomato?
Well, we can.
I mean, we don't have to. Who wants a tomato?
Does anybody actually want a tomato?
Because if not, I don't mind.
So I have on my list of names that we have 5, 6 prizes.
We have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6 if we include the tomato.
I have on my list of names David Pellerine, Chris Wheeler, Brian Bishop, Desi Hernandez, and Cody Daly. Guys, if y'all are still walking, or if y'all are still watching and you were not one of the names that I named off, please comment. If you comment,
just say hi.
Just say hi. And I'm going to add you to the list, and we'll spin the wheel. We have 6 prizes to give away, and we're not going to take the names off, so you can win more than once. But I don't want to give more than once to one individual person. So please let us know you're here. Oh man.
What? What did you miss?
We already lost the game wardens, but Brian Bishop says, "What's the story of paddlefish? Why does Oklahoma and Missouri have a season on them and we don't?"
Maybe
I think
they
it's
can
just
come in and
numbers.
ask them. Maybe they can answer. for us
Yeah, they could probably come and answer in the
in the
comments later, but I would guess that it is numbers. Brian, I think you're already in our list. Okay. Desi Hernandez says, "We loved getting to pick our own strawberries."
Thanks.
Desi, we love having you.
We really do love having people. I think that not only because we get to meet families and we get to meet people, but it's a memory that you've made. And we love knowing that we've been a part of your memory making with your family.
Absolutely. Oh, Esme commented way early in the show and said, "Hi, guys," but we're going to go ahead and go around the list.
Hello, Esme. How are you? I got 2 or 3 more weeks, and I will be back in the kitchen. I will make your jam. As soon as it's ready.
A lot of people ask us about the jams and about the pickles and all that stuff. She will be back on that game, right?
Shortly. Oh, pickles. That's the other one that I've been getting a lot of messages about. Pickles. I will be making pickles soon, too.
All right. So we have Esme. Nick commented earlier. Nick Espo.
Yeah, well, think of that.
Nick Espo. And anyone else? Minda? Minda, hi. Minda, congratulations on your grandson
Graduating.
graduating from
Awesome.
high school.
Yes.
She actually commented, "Those tomatoes are yummy," talking about the
Does she want to win a tomato?
Do you
I
want to
don't
win a
know.
tomato?
Should we give it away? Yes or no?
We're gonna put
You let us know.
Joe Garza III, my Gig'em friend, who is in Hawaii right now. You don't deserve to win anything. You're having a great time.
That was rude. Don't say that.
Cody Daly, we got everybody on there.
Anybody new?
Oh, there we go.
What is this?
Doc and Audra. I cannot pronounce that name. It's Xenakis. Xenakis?
I don't get probably, but I don't want to butcher it.
All right, I'm just gonna put Doc and Audra on our list. And guys, we gotta spin this wheel. We gotta spin this wheel ASAP because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any more comments? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tell everybody about that story real quick.
About what story?
5, 4.
Oh my God. Oh, so the other night, I'm sound asleep, off in dreamland. All of a sudden, Pat yells, 5! Scared me. Then he's counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He gets to 1 and he grabs me, pulls me in tight, holds on for a few seconds, and then let's go. I wake up the next morning. I've never heard the man talk in his sleep, ever. I'm like, what the heck were you dreaming? Because you did this countdown, you grabbed onto me, a few seconds go by and you let me go. And what were you dreaming about? Do you remember?
I don't know. I think we were jumping off of a building or out of a plane or something.
I don't know. Things
All right.
I've never
We
done.
gotta spin the wheel.
Spin it? Has it already been that long?
Yeah. What is the first prize?
Freeze dried strawberries. Let's go.
All right. First prize: freeze-dried strawberries, and we're spinning. Yeah, we're not making it. Minda!
Freeze dried strawberries.
Minda.
Congratulations.
Minda won the freeze-dried strawberries. We are not going to remove her off of there. We are going to write her name on it. All right, let's spin it again. What's up next?
Let's do the hat.
We're going to spin for a hat. Thank you guys for staying with us. Camo hat. Brian Bishop.
Brian Bishop. I'm just gonna write it over here. So
Brian Bishop, you won the Camo SoTex Outdoors hat. Congratulations.
all right.
What's the next prize?
What's a pin?
We're spinning for this little pin. Chris Wheeler.
Come hang out with us.
Chris Wheeler.
Just plant strawberries this year. Him and his wife.
Yeah, him and Floyd.
Yeah.
Him and Floyd help us, and I bet she would like this pin.
Yes.
All right. What's up
Let's
next?
do the other.
We got the other camo, a little different. It's like a woodland pattern, and we are going to spin it again with all your names still on there. We don't have to take drum roll anymore. It's already there. Lone Star Heroes Champion. Cody, if you want me to mail it to you, I'm probably going to ask you to help me pay for the postage.
All right. One more bag of strawberries.
One more bag of strawberries. Last bag of freeze-dried strawberries. And
I got 2 little snacks. All right. We doing tomato or not?
we're going to do the tomato.
We did the tomato.
All right.
We
One
donate it back to the growers.
tomato. Here we go.
Congratulations. Tomato.
Congratulations to everybody. Let's go ahead and remove that from the screen. We're back. Yay!
And we're still there, just smaller.
Yeah, honey, I grew the kids, right?
We shrunk and then we grew, something like that. I don't know.
But guys, I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for coming to watch us tonight. Thank you for watching our interview with the Game Wardens.
Thank you to the Backyard Kitchen for sponsoring us this
Oh, yeah.
week and for delivering dinner for my baby.
We have to say one more time, thank you to our sponsors, Backyard Kitchen. They are located at 957 Avenue H in Poteet, Texas. They deliver and they have delicious cheeseburgers. Their family combo right now is 5 cheeseburgers, a specialty fry, and 4 cheeseburgers,
4 cheeseburgers.
a specialty fry, 4 drinks for $24.99. Steal of a deal. Go see Brad, go see Destiny,
Tell
Backyard
them we
Kitchen,
sent you.
and tell them SoTex sent you to get those burgers. Thank you to the Backyard Kitchen. Thank you to everybody who watched.
Our special guest.
Thank you to our special guest.
Donovan, we missed you.
We missed Donovan. Hopefully he'll be here this next time. Thank you to everybody who has served and risked that ultimate sacrifice. And everybody, please say a prayer for the Ritchie family and for those who have given that ultimate sacrifice and their families. Guys,
This episode of SoTex Time was powered by SoTex Farms, truly homegrown. SoTex Gear, find your happiness. SoTex Outdoors, the hunt never ends, and Blackbird 9 Winery in Poteet, Texas. Thanks for watching.
The sun sets low, another season fades, feels like letting go. Strawberry fields where laughter used to play. Gonna miss the taste, but tomorrow's a new day. Goodbye for now, but it won't be long. So here's to the fruit, the juice in our veins. Even as we bid farewell, love remains. Next season will come, as sure as the sun. Goodbye to the berries, but we've just begun. Gather round, feeling that hope. Auction day shine bright, we learn how to cope. Trophies and ribbons, a crown on each head. But it's bittersweet, as the last ones are fed. The sweet sap lingers, memories stay strong. So here's to the fruit, the juice in our veins. Even as we did farewell, love remains. Next season will come, as sure as the sun. Goodbye to the berries, but we've just begun. A task goes that calls me back, it won't be long. Next year we'll be ready to sing our song.